If you clicked on this video, chances are you thought the same things that I've thought, and that would be, how do I make my music more entertaining? And we're going to get into that today. First of all, we won't be needing this. So the first thing we're going to be wanting to think about is how we can mess with the timings, how we can make the tempo different in different spots. That's going to highlight the main point of each part of our music. So obviously this tip is going to work for solo pieces, and it's not going to work quite as well if you're playing it with an ensemble, because obviously the tempo there is whatever your conductor is going to show you. So the next tip after this will help you with ensemble pieces as well. But let's go ahead and take my audition music that I have to play tomorrow, and let's just see how it sounds like when I just play it straight up with no contrast as far as dynamics. So as I'm sure you noticed with that piece, it was not very interesting at all. Now the piece itself is pretty fast, so it adds a little bit of value to it, and it's going to make it a little bit more interesting to listen to. But after a while, when you're playing that and you're rehearsing it just as it is, it's going to get really boring. You're going to get really burned out. So what we're going to do next is we're going to play with the timing a little bit, and I will put on the screen when it's faster, when it's slower, and I hope it does make a little bit more sense as far as how you can highlight certain parts of the piece. So let's go ahead and get into that. And what we did with that is all the parts that are a little bit more lyrical, a little bit more, just a little bit less harsh and heavily articulated, we're going to want to slow those down a little bit more, not to the point where it's dragging, but just to the point where you have a controlled tempo that you're able to really focus on the lighter articulation between these notes. You're going to want to be able to almost slur them if they're legato, and going a lot slower is going to help with that, because things are going to just get a little bit muddy if you try to do that at a faster tempo. And also the buildup of tempo. If we're speeding up a little bit, it adds a little bit of drama, it adds a little bit of anticipation for the climax of your piece, and that was exactly what we did with the kind of chromatic stuff from the D to the E and the D flat and stuff like that. So it made it a lot more interesting to play, at least, on my end of it. Now, a judge might not think it's any more interesting than anything else, but I will say in auditions, if you take these opportunities to make these choices to make your pieces a little bit more interesting, the judges are going to notice, because they've been sitting there all day and they've been listening to people play the piece exactly how it's written, and they're going to get bored. And so if you play it and it's more interesting, that's going to stick out to them, and they're going to say, I want them in my band. That is, as long as you play the piece right. That's also an important part of it. But the next thing we're going to do is adding dynamic contrast. This is a big thing, because especially when you're in a full piece in an ensemble, which is where this tip comes into play, if you're just playing it at the same tempo, the audience is going to get bored. And your conductor is going to get bored, and you're going to get bored playing it. And so what we can do with that is the places where it's going to get faster and faster, it's also going to get louder and louder, and that's also going to help build that suspense. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some quieter parts in there, we're going to put some louder climaxes in there, and we're going to see how it goes. Now that is how I like to play these pieces. I like to play it with so much dynamic contrast and so much contrast as far as the tempo goes, and that's what makes it really interesting, and it's going to sound better to everyone who's listening to you. We have these really, really loud parts, and even at the end where it restates kind of the theme at the beginning of the piece, it's louder than the part at the beginning, even though it's, you know, it's the same dynamic on the page. These are the two things that if you apply them, I can guarantee you that your pieces are going to sound better, and people are going to enjoy them more, and you're going to have much more success as a musician. So if you did enjoy this video, don't click off yet. I see you guys starting. Make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell, because this is what I'm doing. I am trying to bring educational content to all of you to help you become better musicians, and to kind of share my journey with you as I go through my music career. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.